I love Hera basement emote.
Oh, perfect timing on the undeafened. Yes, apparently. Hi everyone, welcome to Zelda Speedruns. We have Crosskeys. This is the first restream of the Link to the Past Randomizer Crosskeys Tournament 2022. We've got ourselves Amazing Empress and VXR441 here on restream today. How are you both doing?
Pretty good.
Yeah, I'm doing great, and I'm really pumped to get this tournament started. In addition to sharing my insight that we have a I Love Hera basement emote, not sure whose emote that is, but it's could be exciting this race, or any race really. I'm just excited to see another full season of Crosskeys here. So, for anyone who's not familiar with this tournament, it's been a series since 2019 actually, so it's getting a little long running, especially by rando standards. We are playing Crosskeys. This is a shuffle of the Link to the Past randomizer that not only shuffles all the items, as most people are familiar with, but also all the keys, key sanity, and all the doors, which is the entrance randomizer. This can make it pretty complex to sort your way out in terms of where you need to go in a seed, but a lot of people feel they can do it. A lot of people have gotten real good at this mode. This is a 183-man tournament, biggest we've ever had, and I'm excited for it.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the hardest modes to master. There's just so much you have to keep track of between the entrances, the keys, the items.
Yeah, there are more aggressive shuffles in modern A Link to the Past randomizer. There's door randomizer, there's the decoupled entrances, but in terms of stuff that sees what I would call a lot of play, this is probably the peak of what you're going to see. And yeah, in terms of the format for this tournament, just to let anyone who's not familiar be aware of it, this is going to be an 8-week Swiss tournament into a 16-man finals bracket. The math on that is if you go 7-1 or 8-0, you guaranteed make the bracket. If you go 6-2, you're going to be in the play-in race, which gives you about a 50-50 to make the bracket. Now, at the skill level of this tournament, going 6-2 is a big accomplishment, so this is going to be a real harsh cut. But the advantage of Swiss is no matter how you do, you're going to get a meaningful placement at the end. So I'm looking forward to everyone showing us what they have.
Absolutely. Actually, starting any moment now. It's like rdwalshv has a horse head sprites, and Iron Gamer's going with the Mega Man sprites.
Yeah, I'm fairly familiar with Walsh. He's just been a long-time rando runner, pretty strong player all around. Iron Gamer, I'm going to be completely honest, I'm not familiar with him, but this is just an opportunity to see what he can do.
For sure. All right, both are choosing to start in Link's house. Oh no, starting in the Sanctuary right away. Walsh's side. Getting some bombs. Now all the drop-downs are shuffled with each other, so we are okay. We're at the pyramid.
Oh man, that bunny sprite's a unicorn. Gotta say, that's pretty fantastic.
Yeah,
but yeah, I really like Sank Start, and this is a piece of information I feel is really valuable when you Sank Start. For one, this item on the pyramid's in logic right away. But more importantly, you now know as soon as you find Pearl, you can start making Dark World checks efficiently. You don't have to fish around for connectors, and that can be pretty good to know.
We find a potion shop at the Hyrule Castle entrance, so that's a good one to keep in mind once we find the mushroom.
It's also just not a terrible thing in general for the potion shop to be easily accessible. There's a lot of little situations you might want a potion, and that's not going to be the 10-minute side trip that it could be in Crosskeys.
Right. Kind of big key inside of Spectacle Rock Cave. But for rdwalshv, that was the top entrance, so we can't get to that right now.
Yeah, and Walsh is going for this Link's House fake flipper very early. This is a very common Crosskeys starter. Walsh did go with Sank start, but given how quickly it effectively dead-ended him, no sense bunny walking before checking Light World. He's just transitioned to this one. The main advantage of this opening is it lets you check the potion shop entrance, which is otherwise the least convenient entrance very quickly. Then you can quickly get the somewhat inconvenient drop down, and you can transition that straight into Houlihan Room, get some money. You just accomplish a lot of sort of little early game inconveniences at once. So I think you're going to see a lot of players this tournament do this.
Yeah, and you never know the shops are that could have bombs for you. Was that a vanilla useless fairy, or was that magic bat?
That was the thief drop down.
Oh, well, I completely butchered that.
And Iron Gamer, unlike Walsh, chose to take the Spectacle Rock Connector, and his reward for that was finding a way to the Mire region and chatting with Sahas. That tells him what the green pendant is, and more importantly, the Mire region can be very difficult to reach. The mitts are often very, very buried in Crosskeys, and you would need the flute aside for a conventional entrance. But a connector can open up a lot of options with only a mirror, so this little piece of information could help out Iron Gamer. What's probably not going to matter, but could not help rdwalshv, is his movement in Houlihan Room was a little suspect, left behind a whole 4 of those blue rupees.
Alright, both of them look like they're heading off to CAC. Get a boatload of entrances there. Can also try to farm some bombs from these bushes.
Yeah, I totally agree with what Walsh did there. It's with already 2 bombs, he doesn't really want to farm, especially with bomb money, but I mean, just grab one side of the bushes, take whatever it gives you. Gave him 1, average outcome. Of course, Iron Gamer, not having the Houlihan money, felt a little more pressured to get a little more explosive firepower. Got pretty poor bomb bush luck, only 1 in 4 pulls, just decided to move on. Probably the right call.
Ross's got to play the arrow game. Got to pick up a little more money.
Yeah, for a long time in Crosskeys, actually, no one would touch this. But after inverted mode came to the standard randomizer and was frequently a necessary thing, a lot of the community learned how to do the archery game and discovered it's actually a really fast rupee farm.
Hey, I actually move fired. Move across roads. Alright, now we're gonna head into Kakariko.
But yeah, for sure this rupee farm helps out Iron Gamer a lot more than Walsh, because now Iron Gamer can buy the merchant's item or buy bombs if he finds a shop, whichever he prefers, which is pretty advantageous.
Oh, am I cutting out? Oh, there's the bottom of Spectre Rock Cave. We can get this big key.
I wonder if Walsh is going to jump down. I would think no. Yeah, he's just turning around. And it's Hera Big Key, which, for those familiar with Hera Pot, they know you don't strictly need that big key, but it lets you beat it without hookshot. It lets you get the big chest. It's a nice find. On Iron Gamer's side, we found a lamp in one of its vanilla locations.
Yeah.
Probably the location people least frequently picked it up as a kid, but one of them nonetheless.
Okay, so Smith just moved into CAC and Sick Kid moved next door.
And Iron Gamer is going to have some interesting navigation decisions to make here. Finding Paradox Cave here. In his situation, I would probably... Well, oh, he can't even kill the mini Moldorms unless these chests help him out, come to think of it. Oh, the bombs?
Okay, more bombs.
Yeah, he can blast them, go down, buy more bombs in the Paradox shop, and then continue with his exploration. That would be a play. But looks like he's just going to save and quit. It's not a bad decision here because it's pretty slow and annoying to deal with all that. The amount of time it takes just to walk back is honestly probably pretty comparable. Like, if you were real clean, you'd save a little time fighting your way out, but it's subject to RNG because the mini Moldorms are not controllable.
Yeah, they troll just like the Moldorm itself. Anyways, that Paradox Cave, really the only important thing in that is a Paradox Small Cave. We did get a map to Thieves Town, though, as well.
Yeah, for anyone who's a little less familiar with Key Sanity, this is true for all forms of A Link to the Past Key Sanity. When you hit X to do a map check, you don't by default learn what the pendants and crystals are. Having the map to a particular dungeon is what causes that pendant crystal indicator to show up on the map. Or alternatively, you'll see a little P or C when you enter that dungeon. If you happen to find the dungeon before map checking, that can be helpful as well.
Compasses are also shuffled everywhere. Those aren't as significant, but they do help you keep track of how many checks you've done in a dungeon.
And if anyone's curious, and I know everyone was, the map and compass do still fulfill their no doubt pivotal vanilla role. You can hit the X button and get some very cryptic and unhelpful information.
Yes.
And yeah, Walsh kind of showed what I meant with the RNG. I don't think he really did anything wrong in that mini Moldorm room, but it took him like 5 bombs and it was slow. So Iron Gamer just committing right away to the reset actually probably saved him just a little bit of time. So, for what it's worth, maps and compasses are not in logic in Crosskeys at all. Now, this is an important thing to remember because the logic for Crosskeys, well, entrance randomizer in general, and non-entrance are completely independent. They're very similar, but there are some differences. Maps, compasses, and logic are one of the things that are only in non-entrance. Some other differences, just to kind of share some trivia. Laser bridge with nothing is not required in Crosskeys. You will be able to find either a mirror shield or an invincibility item. There's a little check to make sure you don't have to do 3 heart no invincibility item, Mire Spike Room. It would never come up in non-entrance, but we have to have a safety for it because it's a really rough thing to require. And Fire Rod Dark Rooms are not part of Crosskeys either. Those are the sort of big points of logic that those super familiar with non-entrance logic just need to keep in mind.
Okay, how do I sound now?
Well, you've always sounded fine to me, but you know how that tech is. Ooh, Walsh finding the back of the old man. That will be a save and quit point for him later, which can be pretty helpful. It also could be a connector right now. A big factor to always keep in mind in Crosskeys in general is the decision point. When do I want to take connectors? I agree with Walsh's decision for now to just keep checking new entrances, because the average value of these new entrances is probably better than walking through a connector that otherwise has nothing, very likely to drop him in Dark World. But
yeah,
the more you check, the more important those connectors will be, and it's very rare to play a seed where you don't need at least one connector.
Okay, chat's saying I'm sounding better. So I'm just going to blame Discord for that. Alright, this is the Lumberjack. That is a bloopy.
Hardest piece of easy tech in the game. Look at the Lumberjack item. Do not accidentally go down the stairs.
You get the shovel from the mushroom spot.
That's always just a little bit annoying because you were just kind of by where to dig. In Iron Gamer's case, he walked past it twice. But there's really no realistic way you are ever going to avoid that in this seed, I think. So you just kind of shrug and say, well, my opponent dealt with this nuisance too. Ooh, Aga 1 required. So that is, by the way I think most people look at it, the worst place for Ganon to be. There's two reasons for it. One is Castle Tower is a reasonably long dungeon with only 2 checks in it, both near the beginning. So that's just a lot of extra rooms you have to do that you otherwise would have no reason to do. The other reason is both Castle Tower keys are hard required to beat this seed. And those can, the second one of those especially, can be anywhere. So
basically another ice rod.
Yep. That could just be a little bit of a joy. You also need the boots to bonk that open, and it's not a given you'll find those. There are shenanigans to open that without the boots, but they require a lot of setup. So pretty unlikely we'll see anyone do that, but you'll we might see the 300 IQ play that beats the seed without boots. It is possible.
And I think the well is behind Agate 2, unless I'm missing something.
Yeah, I do think the well will be behind Agate 2, so... any tennis fans here in chat could have a good seat on their hands.
No, Back of Escape's behind Agate 2, so that Hollow Castle smoking is actually really important.
Oh, yeah, Back of Escape. That minor detail. So where is the well? Because we haven't seen it, right?
We have not. And that is the Sword's big key on the...
Oh, it's probably in Sank. Walsh didn't check Sank. He's seen everywhere else. He did it by elimination. Iron Gamer, who didn't do that earlier start with the fake flipper, didn't know that because he still has the useless fairy entrance to go. In some slightly good news for our runners, we have seen Castle Tower, and it's very easily accessible, so that is one of the many problems that Ganon location causes solved. Not that you're ever that happy to see Castle Tower early in the game. It can be not very pleasant to slog your way through with very bad weaponry, even to do the 2 checks.
Alright, so I already also found Hollow Castle. First entrance was at Agina. The second one is Dark Death Mountain.
Walsh choosing not to bunny walk for the Spike Cave entrance, which is... I get it, it's kind of a long walk. I would be tempted just to know I'm never coming back to Dark Mountain, but I guess there's almost no positive entrance he could find and do something with, so I understand his decision. Looks like he's just gonna do some stuff here. This is a big decision point. Do you steal a key? Because if you steal a key, you can go all the way to Back of Sank and guarantee you don't have to fight Agate 2 this seed. On the other hand, you orphan these basement checks really badly if you do, so it's big trade-offs.
And it looks like Artie Olsen's going to steal it.
Yeah, and he's going to, of note, he's going to steal it immediately. So you actually have 2 options of when to steal it. You can steal it right there, or you can steal it from the vanilla boomerang room. Stealing it there is faster. Stealing it from the vanilla boomerang room is saying, I'm willing to hard gamble Zelda's cell has nothing.
Yeah.
The downside, of course, is he might have to wait much longer to do the vanilla boomerang check. But when he comes back later with the Hyrule Castle small key, he'll be fine. And this is also completely safe because those 2 checks deeper in the castle are guaranteed to, or they're logically behind the small key. So you're guaranteed to be able to find the small key before you need them.
All right, and looks like Ariel's is just gonna leave.
Oh, that's a really smart thing Walsh just did there.
Okay.
So Walsh entered and exited through that light world entrance before doing the sewers. With no weapon, if he went into the sewers when the game was flagged as Dark World, the rats would be treated as grasshoppers from Thieves, and the snakes would have the unused skull rope stats from Vanilla. He could get murdered. Whereas with his blue mail and the lamp, he's quite safe with the light world flag set. So very good awareness to fix that.
And it's just 10 arrows in Dark Cross. That was the only other in logic check in Hyrule Castle. As of right now.
It is worth noting, as our tracker Earworm brought up in chat, that Walsh did just save, so if he gets 3 absolutely trash checks back here, he probably hard resets. But I would assume if he finds anything of value, he's going to keep it.
Yeah. I did not see where Iron Gamer found Super Bunny.
It is going to be a true Super Bunny, as he is a bunny.
Well, you definitely keeping that mirror.
Yeah, Burna's low-key good because it's his first weapon of any kind whatsoever. With half magic, you can actually do a lot with Burna. But Mirror is just straightforward amazing. It opens up so much exploration. It actually lets you do a lot in Dark World too, because you can mirror glitch to open chest as a bunny. Well, Iron Gamer going the other way and finding the Hyrule Castle small key, which should lead him to that mirror in pretty short order.
Alright, everybody else is following. It doesn't look like it has to follow this connector.
Kind of the fun thing about this is that Iron Gamer could actually make these 2 checks way before Walsh just from the different order. Even when Walsh finds that key, he's not really going to be in a hurry to come back here until he's exhausted a lot of more lucrative options. So I think there's quite a bit of early game leverage on what are in these 2 back checks in Hyrule Castle, while Walsh is showing us the value in the rest of the seed by pulling a hook shot from the first chest in Thieves.
Let's just see if these towns a crystal from the sea on the HUD.
So I think it's Walsh on the Western Mountain. That's one thing you can do with hookshot. Have we seen anything else you can do with hookshot so far this seed?
Not that I've noticed, really. Oh, he's on Hookshot Cave somewhere. I forgot where. Yeah, there's one Castle Tower small key.
Oh yes, Hookshot Cave and CAC. That is always of some considerable help. So, Iron Gamer is going to have a real awkward time here. wisely realizing the situation he's in and just damaging down on this guard. That feels bad, but it's way better to do what he did there than to kill the guard and realize you have no way to death warp. Oh, man. Just the bad heart. Like, the only solace you take from that is it wasn't Sank Heart.
Swamp Small and a GT Small out of the Waterfall Ferry that was in the at Death Mountain Descent top cave or whatever you call it.
Yeah, Mountain really
Exit cave.
Paying off and kind of giving a half of a Swamp Palace care package, hook shot plus the key, hammer and flippers, and that dungeon will become very exciting.
And here's Laser Bridge. Second GT Small, Ice Palace map, and bombs.
Given that Walsh was at 0 bombs, that is an ideal number of bombs. Oh, that's why Iron. You need 2 bombs to do this. That's really bad for Iron Gamer. That's catastrophically bad. That's leading him away from the mirror.
And that is at the Thieves Town small key, which is always nice to find before you get the big keys. Although we don't have the hammer to get the big chest yet.
Yeah, I think I mentioned this earlier, but to repeat, Laser Bridge and Crosskeys, which I don't think had anything too thrilling here. I think it had the Thieves Small Key, is in logic with either Mirror Shield or an invincibility item. Mirror Shield doesn't come up a lot, but I've seen it before.
Okay, so in Entrance Shuffle, you do need invincibility item for Laser Bridge. Alright, good to know.
Yeah, it's an important thing because... So, in a normal randomizer, you know, standard non-entrance, by the time you're at Laser Bridge, mathematically you're going to have some things, at least heart containers, right?
Yeah.
If we didn't have any safeguards for Laser Bridge, your very first progression item, 3 hearts with nothing, you could have to do it. While I think most of our top players could handle that, I mean, I'm not realistically a top player at this point, and I can handle that, but is it really fair for everyone who ever wants to complete one of these seeds to have to do that? I don't know that it really is, so I feel pretty good about Crosskeys being different here.
There's another Turtle Rock entrance. Just outside of the Village of Outcasts.
Iron Gamer is doing a lot of bunny walking. So, usually you don't want to bunny walk more than you have to. It can be required, totally.
Yeah.
But Bunny Link is just not very capable. Especially without a mirror, you don't have a lot of great things you can do. Clearing out some of Skull Woods here is one of the better things you can do, because it's very easy to reset to Link, either by dying or getting wall mastered. But if Walsh keeps finding value in the light world while Iron Gamer is doing longer bunny walks that don't pay off, that can easily turn into a pretty substantial early game gap. So we'll have to see what else Walsh finds here, and if these riskier plays Iron Gamer's making end up paying off.
Oh, it's a big key to Thieves Town. That is required.
Well, probably. It's required for thieves, but...
The Crystal saw CA when rdwalshv was in there.
I'm just looking at the sides. Iron Gamer doesn't know it's required. We know it's required.
Not inside of the top Fairy Ascension entrance. That's an interesting location.
Unfortunately, we have absolutely no way to continue in pod. No keys, no bow, not a bottle for potion glitch. Hammer, very interesting. Doesn't actually do anything right now, but very interesting. Ooh, no, it does something. Oh, it does something. Welcome to Ganon's Tower.
Shot. But no Can of Smart, so it can't go right. Oh, Harris Small and Hope Room, as well as 300 rupees.
So here's the really nice thing for Walsh here. He has the Cane of Burna and half magic. So Hammer Ice Armos is maybe the worst fight that can be mandatory in this mode.
Yes.
If you don't have a sword or a bow, Cane of Burna, very clean fight. So this is going to help Walsh a lot.
Nothing in Dark Magician Room.
Yeah, and he only had, I think, 2 keys when he came in here, so most of this isn't in logic anyway, but, I mean, GT is just by far the greatest concentration of items in any seed, so being able to clear out left side, the more lucrative side this early in the game, you feel good about it, you're always going to do it.
And Fire Rod, I think that was the Lake Hylia's shop.
That is a really free location to find Fire Rod at 2845. Given how much trouble Iron Gamer's gone through for not having a weapon, he probably feels bad about that. Little does he know, he's actually the first to find it.
Alright, now we're going to see Rando Rings map on the Desert Torch. This ever was behind focus. Oh, there's the Can of Samaria.
Ooh, that is a big punishment for not having the Fire Rod right now.
Yeah, that's... Unless everyone else wants to bomb jump, it's really just tile room it opens up.
I have every confidence it's within Walsh's skill, but I don't have every confidence that it's within his skill in one try without boots. And without even a sword or boomerang to deal with the Gibdos, it would be really tough. Probably just not a prudent decision. But he can try if he wants to.
I think it's a bomb jump that's a lot easier to do.
Fun thing about this bomb jump, it is so easy, it is actually realistically possible to over bomb jump and land in the pit behind your target.
Sword in Bob's chest.
Yeah, Walsh is going with the blue cane anyway, even though he found a sword. It's not a bad decision at all. You see just how much the blue cane shreds the Ice Armos. This is one of the single best applications of the Cane of Burna. And yeah, you're seeing just the sword charge strats. This is very easy, very consistent. You can really tell Armos Knights were meant to be the first boss.
Yes. Red mail boots.
So you feel really good about sword boots. This is... there is very little likely required progression here. I guess we need the boots because of where Ganon is for sure. But there's a lot of nice to have here. I think the only, like, conventionally major progression item here was that red cane, but, I mean, that's pretty significant in its own right.
Big key. On Iron Gamer's side, that was Saha's house.
I'm sorry, which big key did you say that was that Gamer just got?
Oh, big the entire room, and it's to Misery Mire.
Okay, given that Walsh has switched to Mirror, I think he's just going to refill magic and Mirror out. Or think better of it and save and quit, realizing he really has nowhere to go. But either way, these boots open a couple options. I expect the Link's House Bonk Rocks right away, or going over here, that's fine too. We know this is the best possible choice because this leads straight to Fire Rod. You can definitely just feel the slightest tinge of annoyance from Walsh with that Fire Rod, but he's doing pretty well overall. So, I guess I'll explain the tournament format a little more than just saying Swiss. We are using a Swiss-style tournament for the opening rounds of this tournament, which means that there's not a bracket, people don't get eliminated. Winners play winners, losers play losers, round after round, and you end up with a final score that will then be used to seed a bracket later on. This is the first round, so no one's won or lost any games yet. In future rounds, everyone will still get to play every round, but it'll be like the winners of round one will play the other winners of round one. The losers of round one will play the other losers of round one.
Okay, RDWalshv just got a mirror on top of Bumper Ridge, which is not something Iron Gamer was able to do. Okay, it's Ice Rod Cave. Okay, just a red rupee.
Back in the day when this entrance was just one of the huge entrance randomizer gotchas, we're at a point I don't think anyone who regularly plays this mode is surprised by this maneuver, but always a fun one nonetheless. And yeah, luckily Beamos, I don't believe, do damage even with the bumping into them based on your tunic. Because one minor but very real disadvantage of finding male upgrades early is it can take a lot longer to intentionally die. And until you have both the Mirror and the Moon Pearl, there's a lot of reasons you might have to take an intentional death.
Yeah, no flippers, so we can't get past that exits.
Yeah, it's really a fun insight into how this game's programmed there, because if you set up a water walk, you can just walk out of there completely normally. You know, like you go in, you swim into the entrance with fake flippers, you walk out, your Pearl resets you to standing status if you have it. But if you enter that from a grounded connector, spleesh. But another fun thing, Iron Gamer is going back for the back of Escape, which is a very good thing for him. He's going to get his Cane of Burnham. More importantly, he's going to get his Mirror. The Mirror isn't always required, but it's required often, and it saves just so much time having it. It is always a top-tier find.
Tower of Herod's out of the castle tower into this, and this is full clearable. Got the small key, we got the big key. Got a fire source. Yep, got fire sources.
Very interesting that Walsh is doing the basement before checking the map chest, but I guess it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, this thing can check this mirror and then go to the map chest and then Hera pot.
And yeah, like, a lot of players don't like Hera Basement for obvious reasons. This is slow, but this early in a seed, and I know we're a whole 37 minutes in, but for Crosskeys, this is still early game. When you have all the tools to do this, it could easily be a sign. Pretty likely that GT small key is logically required. Might not be practically required, but is probably logically required.
Especially since Canis Maria is locked behind all four.
Yeah, Walsh going for the super speed setup here. I find this setup harder than the bomb setup, but it definitely works. Deciding he's had enough of it, I have the big key. It's not that much slower, especially with Hammer to one-shot these to just fight your way up. That middle one deciding it wasn't going to get hammered and took the escape pit.
Ooh, broken the Hera big chest. Let's give us another entrance. We can get the Hera tablet, but we can't actually read it. Or we can't actually get the item in it.
Yeah, we actually... Gamer knows that, yeah, he can do exactly what he's doing right now, actually, because he's seen the connector to Meyer. Walsh has not taken that connector, so from Walsh's perspective, it's an entrance. We know it isn't needed for that this seed. We also know, no, it's not needed at all because that entrance was junk, but you don't know that until you go in.
We got the hammer to make Moldorm less terrible.
Yeah, Hammer Moldorm, when you're starting out with the Link to the Past, seems pretty imposing because the Hammer's hitbox is so small and Moldorm's known to be so trolly, but you get a feel for it, and in a lot of ways, it's actually the coziest fight, because it's very hard to hit his head on by accident with the hammer. You never enrage him. It's just nice and smooth every time.
Well, that is our first crystal, and then you get zapped as soon as you exit, because we use the cave to get in.
Yeah, I do not remember offhand where that cape was, but Gamer does not have it yet. Not that it seems like it's really going to be that big of a problem. There was nothing of particularly immediate importance in that tower. We have a crystal we need eventually. We might need the book for one of the monoliths, but the odds aren't terribly high, and we'd need another sword for that to really come into play regardless.
I'm going to get some more bunny walking from both runners now. Which Gamer's going to mirror.
Yeah, I don't think Walsh has done the eastern area, so this is just one of... This is the reason I think Mirror is the single most powerful item in Crosskeys. Because you can combo stuff between the worlds, and it saves a lot of time. Like, yeah, these Dark World checks are pretty marginal, but being able to make them without going out of your way while doing Light World checks you were going to do anyway, that's efficient. We see Gamer now has found Thieves Town. Unfortunately, does not have that hammer or small key yet, but does have the big key. So could beat it if he wanted to. He'd have to Kana Burna the boss. Probably not the most appealing play, but it's an option.
Yeah.
I noticed Walsh chose not to mirror glitch into Blind's basement. You can't get the chest that requires bombing, but you can get the other 4. I find that an interesting decision. I get it because you know you're coming back no matter what. Yeah, it looks like Gamer's continuing. Now, the biggest downside of this is he will be orphaning the big chest. Whereas at this point, it's pretty well guaranteed whenever Walsh does Thieves, he will be checking the big chest. So that is a major sort of swing point of this run. If the Thieves Town big chest has something required, that is potentially an enormous time gain for Walsh.
Oh, where do you think this moon presently? Thieves Town, the back of Thieves Town's out of logic. If there's any more bunny walking we haven't done yet.
What, that Thieves' big key was Skull Woods, right?
Yes.
So, yeah, that's totally out of logic. Castle Tower's not a bad guess at all. We have a lamp. We have ample weaponry. Both these checks are thoroughly in logic. I also don't believe Walsh has checked either Boots entrance he has available to him yet. I guess the Boots are... Well, we now have 3 Ganon's Tower small keys. I don't know if any of them are out of logic or not. I haven't been tracking that in detail, but those Boots are in logic if the keys are.
It was Ice Armos. Is that 2 or 3 small key locked?
Ice Armos is 3. It's a weird situation because both the left and the right side are 4, but Ice Armos is 3 because in order to spend all the keys, you can always complete one side or the other. You gotta love key logic in these games. I might be a little more passionate for it than most, having written some of it. I mean, I wrote Spirit Temple key logic in ALttPR. That was beautiful. You have to think a little sideways for it, but it can be pretty beautiful figuring out what the real minimums are.
Spirit key logic, so Temple key logic. That's...
Hey, I didn't just write it. I wrote it twice because it's completely independent from Master Quest, and it's not less complicated.
Even more complicated, yeah. That's a death on blind.
That almost looked like it was intentional. Was Gamer not aware he had the tools to win that fight? I honestly think Gamer didn't realize he could Burna that fight. Because, I mean, Burna's invincibility, too, so if you were going to use it, you'd never get hit. It makes you invincible. But yeah, Gamer's going to get his rather substantial rewards from the mountain now. Well, Walsh is finally checking out the Mire area. Now, it is possible to get these 3 items right now. You have to Super Bunny, bonk it open, walk back out, because bonking will take your Super Bunny status, walk back in as a Super Bunny again, and you can get the 3 chests.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah, it's not what I would call quick. It is Mechanically permissible, though.
Right, and it was shown Laser Bridge is going to get Ether and the GT Small. I believe all three we have are in Logic. No, the cave's behind 4, so one of those GT Smalls is not in Logic.
Mimic Cave is another option we've just kind of been sitting on for a while. That's definitely the progression, Red Rupee.
Absolutely.
I always like to say, never underestimate the ability of this game to give you $20. You know, we could all use something like a Link to the Past randomizer in our lives. I would love to know someone who couldn't help but repeatedly give me $20.
I would love that. Misery Maya inside of the Bonk Rocks entrance. Or the Bonk Rocks outside of Sank.
So if we're right that one of these GT keys is out of Logic, this is technically... Well, the hook shot's in Logic. You can get in anyway. Never mind. The boots are totally irrelevant here. Other than just actually helping you move. You can run.
We haven't gone back to
that
hook shot
minor
cave.
annoyance of not having a Mire small key. You usually do have a Mire small key entering Mire, and you can route it in just a more efficient way, but every once in a while, Mire says no. The good news here is Walsh can actually full clear this right now. Doesn't even have to do Dark Mire. Now, Vitreous isn't a great fight with this equipment, but this is 100% within Walsh's skill level to handle, and it's honestly pretty hard for me to imagine he won't choose to do it.
Got flippers from the Spikes chest. We've already seen the Waterfall Fairy entrance. That was one of our desert entrances.
Chat bringing up a good logic point. Boots are important for Mire logically because the door's behind Bonk Rocks.
Yeah.
Yeah, that does tend to make a difference, doesn't it?
Yeah, we're gonna go over to the final section. Now, this is wildly out of Logic because this is knocking out 3 small keys.
Yeah, this is one of those things. You know it's likely this never goes into Logic, but, I mean, for all you know, there's the Ice Rod here. And if it is a helpful item, like, say, another sword, it saves so much time that it's just worth it. You would never skip this in this situation.
Yeah, boots do more of a progression thanks to those entrances. Of course, there are some that we cannot get to right now because who knows where the moon player is.
Hey, all we need to do is find both gloves, and then we can check one more boots entrance whenever we want.
It's a Sank Heart and cutscene chest.
Low key, you're not too mad to see that. If it's not going to be progression, at least you have full health for Vitreous.
Alright, let's see. Iron Gamer's gone back to the Ice Rod Cave area. I don't remember what was over here. Oh, Paradox Cave. Oh, there's a desert small key. The first bottle. We did find Sick Kid already.
So... Oh, he's mirroring. You don't have to do that. Take the warp on the left side. You can get to Vitreous right now.
He just decided not to do it on this equipment.
Given that he pushed into the locked door, I'm going to guess he wasn't thinking of it. Won't be too heartbroken if he realizes it later. But yeah, it is worth noting that he could go the whole seed and not find a single Meyer small key, and it would not prevent him from beating the game.
Well, that's our 4th GT small key. And the pod big key.
That also gets me thinking about right side GT pretty heavily. That would be a very logical place for the Pearl to be, right? I mean, yeah. I don't know where all the other keys are, but when I see 4 GT small keys and I have this items, I mean, it tells a story. I'm sorry, it tells a story. Though I guess neither player's seen all 4.
Yeah, we've seen all 4, but they both have 3 right now.
Yeah, and Iron Gamer's side, he still has not located Ganon's tower. Or Pod, which is probably the more important find, because that's the hammer.
Yeah, first pod small.
So in this situation as Walsh, I'd be really thinking about going back to that potion shop, putting a green potion in the bottle, going back to pod, and you can do 4 checks. Potion glitch for the 2 on the right side, then use the key for 2 more.
Okay, there's a Mizraimari small key. Hookshot Cave. And there's the other castle tower small.
So, yeah, he can beat Aga 1 whenever he wants. It wouldn't even really be hard. Probably not going to do this until the very end of the seed, just because it's very annoying to have Aga 1 defeated due to Pyramid Save Warp.
And the enemies being tougher on the light world.
Yeah, you spawn in Ganon's MVP, that red guard by the library.
Oh yeah, the we can access the left race house, or the race house left entrance. Did we see what was on race game?
I don't think we did. I generally agree with the strategy of just checking it when you can get to it. But works out here. Gets us whatever Agana has. The threads are definitely running a bit thin.
Not there. We did see both Castle Tower chests. They were junk.
Yeah, I think the second one was, what, a compass? Maybe it was 3 bombs. I don't know. It was something that served no useful purpose to our runners. I remember that. I wonder if Iron Gamer is going to Super Bunny these 4 checks.
No, looks like he's going to.
Yeah, you're baking in a bit of time loss because you're going to come back here again for the 5th check. You'll probably combo it with going to the pod entrance. If these chests have immediate value, it could really help out. Some real tools for Ice Palace. If only we knew where it was. Pod Small Key is a little helpful. So here's a fun little entrance randomizer gotcha. Between our runners, it might look like we could clear Ice Palace if we get in the front door, but that is not true. You need a glove to beat Ice Palace.
Yep. There are things we can do in there, but... yeah. Okay, that's just fairies.
If that roll sprite is giving you Marvel 2 flashbacks, those are either flashbacks to you winning by a lot, if your opponent was picking her, or losing by a lot, if you were picking her. Oh man, roll was bad in that game.
No, both of the brothers' connectors were in, or the whole brothers' connector was in the Dark Wave. Oh, that's okay. Top of Fairy Ascension Cave. I'm also not gonna follow it just yet.
Iron Gamer does not have that desert small key, but I don't think we've seen the right-sided desert, and that is a remaining option on the table.
Yeah. It was Misery Mire Big Chest. And Misery Mire Big Key's out of logic because it was Tile Room in GT. And Samaria's Amanda Room, and I believe we still have an out of logic GT small.
Yeah, in my experience, just as a player, usually I find the first glove is not that tough to find. It's making us work for it this time, but it does gate quite a few entrances. Mitts, good luck if you want mitts.
Yeah.
So Walsh is choosing to beat Castle Tower here. Now, I can think of two possible reasons for this. Either he wants to go to Dark World and he's already in the area, or just as likely, he doesn't entirely know what he wants to do, and he's using this time to think. When you have these sort of long forced tasks built into a seed, and it's not really much slower to do Castle Tower now than doing it later on. It might even be faster to do it now, because without Moon Pearl, you don't have the holding up the sword animation after you beat the dungeon. You might as well use them at moments you don't really know what you want to do, because having to stop to think is the most obvious form of time loss.
I'm gonna start a prediction. How many rolls?
Is the prediction where is Moon Pearl, or is it will we find Moon Pearl or our first glove first?
I'll start with the blue roll prediction. And still no Moon Pearl. I won't be here, I won't be here on Iron Gamer's side. But it is a big key to Desert Palace.
We can kill Landmo now. That's obviously out of logic, but it's a thing we can do.
Yank my headphones out, or my earbuds out of my computer and reconnect them.
So, for anyone who's not familiar with this particular feature this is actually true for all Link to the Past randomizers, the boss's RNG is always seeded to be the same. That doesn't mean all the bosses will do the exact same patterns, because some of their patterns are affected by Link's movement and such, but it does mean that you'll always get the same number of blue balls between both players, as long as no one does anything silly like die on Aga 1.
That's 3 blue balls so far.
Yeah, usually my standard for Aga 1 is if you see 2 lightning cycles, then it's not great. But you don't really worry about it in a seed like this, because like I said, both players have to do this. So even if he shot his comedy 15 blue balls, just affects you both equally.
Okay, so does beating Aga 1 get rid of the barrier in front of Castle Tower, and is that in logic?
What about Aga 1?
It was gone after you beat Aga 1.
Oh, yes. Beating Aga 1 to get into the Vanilla Castle Tower entrance is logical. If you can find a seed that requires it, I'll be impressed. I don't think I've ever seen it be required.
A nice single arrow on Highland. Yeah, that might actually be required, at least logically.
Yeah, I mean, in this case, we have the cape. We also know there's really nothing important in there other than maybe the book. Because, like, it's Hera, but Hera wasn't exactly swimming in value.
Yeah, Mirror's out of logic because the Hyrule Castle small key was Super Bunny Cave.
Which, in this case, you actually had to Super Bunny. Well, actually, where did the back of that cave go to?
I don't remember.
Because what is in logic is to go through Super Bunny Cave as a Super Bunny, emerge in the light world, and walk right back in.
The right side of Desert had a TR small key and the GT big key. Which is interesting. Oh, no bow. So that big key only gives us the big chest.
Ooh, here's a fun little thing that's logical. Mirroring on this island to reach this entrance without flippers.
Yeah.
Oh, it went out desert right. Oh, that's a fun one. Because, yeah, going through Super Bunny Cave as a bunny, coming out desert right and walking right back in is a way that a connector to desert right can be relevant to logic, and we very well may have it here. And I would expect Iron Gamer is going to fight Moth here. It's only green pendant, but, I mean, you're here. The fight's... I wouldn't say it's free, but it's not too bad. Oh, he doesn't have a sword.
Yeah, can't get through here.
That's...
Yep, just remembered.
Whereas Walsh can't do it because he doesn't have the small key from having visited Front of Skull. So they're both blocked for different reasons. Walsh's block is going to cost him less time. So, yeah, this is proving to be quite the seed. I want to see Walsh go back to Ganon's Tower. That is, I think, just the value play, because he has the 4 checks on right side. Now he has the GT Big Key, so he can do the GT Big Chest as well. That feels like a pretty strong play to me in this situation.
Hobo is just a map. It's one of our few remaining checks, it seems like. GT is East Death Mountain.
Yeah, so you have to take some connector or another, go on a bit of a journey, but I think it's worth it. That might be where Walsh is going now. Oh, Walsh is going to find Mini Moldorm and will be in a good position after this to go back to GT. Because Mini Moldorm, Walsh is seeing this and saying, oh my word, I could have found this so long ago. This is where my Moon Pearl is, and it's just not. Desert Big Chest from Gamer was a new check for us, but not really bringing the goods. Though the contents of this cave probably have convinced Walsh to go back to GT if he wasn't going to already, because that's all 4 GT small keys. He has the big key. Even if one of those keys is out of logic for the purpose of whatchamacallit, the right side, the big chest is in logic. Yeah, now Walsh is going to go through Super Bunny Cave, find the Hyrule Castle small key, say, that's out of logic, come out on Desert Right and say, oh, it's in logic.
Yeah, GT was the bottom of the Fairy Ascension bottom entrance.
Walsh seemingly not remembering you can run while you're a Super Bunny.
Yeah, we've had some very interesting logic today.
Honestly, I think GT Big Chest is a real likely place for that big key. Either that or Pod. We've only seen one chest in Pod. That Pod's pretty suspicious too. And yeah, Walsh is going to be probably blown away that these 2 checks are just nothing helpful. He'll get a heart container.
Yeah,
but yeah, I will note it's 1:11 when Walsh is making this play. Iron Gamer made this play, what was it, 15 minutes into the seeds. So
like that.
If this really had been where the Moon Pearl was, Iron Gamer would probably have a huge lead right now. So it's always worth noting stuff like that, no matter how the race ultimately ends, just how things could have been different, and it could have changed so much.
I'm starting to think Pod's gonna have the moon pearl at this point. Iron Gamer, fortunately,
getting snitched on.
Ooh, that connected us to floating island. Has another mesmerizer small key.
We're going to do the somewhat rare check of the TR medallion. A lot of players don't like making that check. Mostly because it's just... like, what are the odds you even find the mitts at the point you still care what's in there? But knowledge is knowledge. Iron Gamer finally finding Pod. Going to get his hammer. Can do a little more here with 2 small keys and a big key. While Walsh finds Spiral Cave. Which could very much... well, the Pod small key is not bad at all. It really isn't.
I got 3rd Pod small out of Spiral Cave.
Yeah, it's only Walsh's 2nd. I don't know that they have the same 2, though. So I think that is the 3rd we've seen.
Okay, we don't have a bow, so is this 3 key locked or 4 key locked?
It's 4 key locked. That is okay. That bit thread of logic is not a thing in entrance. But, like, at this point, I mean, it's density. You're just doing it.
Yeah.
It does also, especially for Walsh, I'm a little surprised he did not buy a potion before coming here, just for the 2 extra checks. And yes, I would like to say I have beaten a Crosskeys seed without Moon Pearl before. It was even a tournament race. It can be done. It's usually not possible, but it can be.
Yeah, it sounds like quite a lot of things have to happen.
Well, remembering you can Super Bunny with a mirror, it's not as many entrances that have to be dead as you would think. But yeah, in this seed, it's almost certainly the case that either Eastern Swamp or Ice Palace are going to be buried behind some, like, boots or glove entrance in the Dark World that you just can't get to without more stuff. Or without the Pearl. And because we know Moth has Green Pendant, at least one of those 3 dungeons must be a crystal. Just as likely several of them are.
Well, it looks like we know 5 of our crystals already. And Ice Palace is one of them. Alright, now we need a right side GT.
By far the best item that can be in the big chest here is the bow, I would say. Not for our runners, that's not the best at all. It's the best because it forces you to immediately climb GT.
Yes. Yep.
Comedy option, by the way, if climbing GT is completely dead and the bow is actually needed to do the right side of pod.
Oh, he did pull it right out of the compass for him.
Yeah, we seem slightly but not completely convinced that's not in logic. I don't know, maybe it is. It's helpful.
Big chest, what do you have? Master Sword. Well, now your 4 keys are in logic.
Yeah, that's not bad.
That's going to be Iron Gamer's first... No, he doesn't have the GT big key.
His first sword is going to be above Ice Armos.
Oh, yeah.
That was where Walsh's sword was.
No, progression is...
Yeah,
No.
Ether Monolith is...
No way.
Like, we can get to both of them, actually. It could be either one. That's plausible.
I'm not seeing... And almost have it as available for bunny walking. Oh, yeah, the well.
Yeah, I don't know where all the keys are, but it doesn't really matter. Like, you can check the well at this point. Like, this is an obvious decision. That was impressively garbage.
Yeah, the only thing even remotely relevant was pod key number 4. Also, shoutouts to 2,022 rupees on Iron Gamer's side.
He needs 200 more, in my opinion. Oh, that's
Oh,
not a
ugly.
good thing to do.
That's reload.
So there's a trick to
Pendant
this for anyone who's
Swamp.
not familiar with it. If you wait until the anti-fairy bounces off the pot, it will move in a friendlier pattern that generally lets you through that cleaner.
Yeah, this is Swamp Palace inside of the Glove Rocked. And it was a pendant. Because of course it is.
I mean, finding Swamp at this point, I don't blame Walsh at all, saying it's a pendant. Oh well, going in. Don't have the big key? Oh well, going in.
Certainly.
Yep, there's the boots. You get a boot, you get a sword. That can't feel super great for a gamer. Also, Iron Gamer, I don't think knows about all the pots. Because if you don't have any magic at all in Ganon's Tower, and you need to make that Canis Samaria block, there is a pot with a small green magic decanter on the side of that room that you can use to make the block. And then you get a full magic refill 2 rooms further in. Yeah, and he's going right for Thieves' Big Chest, which...
Oh, Oh,
Or no, he's going for blind. Why didn't he do Thieves' Big Chest? I don't understand that. But okay, we're killing blind. This is concerning. That is 1 heart. Blind is very off script. Does he have a fairy, or...?
Yeah, one of the bottles had a fairy. Just a shield.
Thanks for the sub to the channel, Zafakil. I can't speak for all the other admins, but I will anyway. Feel free to troll us anytime.
We actually have a few of them in chats. Swamp has another pod small. That's 5 now.
Yeah, I'd say those GT keys were in logic at this point. Yeah, so... that sorts the seed out quite a bit. But that Moon Pearl, anything that wasn't in logic now is. Walsh can probably really start moving here.
This is also Pendant Swamp on top of everything else.
I mean, a Moon Pearl's a sort of crystal.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
So the one advantage, and if I'm being honest, it's probably about the only advantage that Gamer has at this point, is he has a couple of big keys Walsh doesn't. He has the Desert Big Key, which he has used to kill Landmo, and he also has the Thieves Town Big Key, which he's used to kill Blind. The Thieves Town Big Key I know is in front of Skull, so Walsh will probably not have a hard time finding that. I don't remember where the desert one was.
That was Big King? It was in Turtle Rock.
Oh yeah, Chomp Room. That also is probably not going to be a hard one to find.
Alright, now back to Misery Mire.
So any Schadenfreude fans in chat are certainly rooting for this to be the blue pendant.
If our last...
Oh, this absolutely could be a Ped Seed, chat.
Yeah,
Not a thing stops it.
A lot of things there. Eastern Palace Big Key could be required. Ice Rod, maybe, depending on pendants or crystals.
Our first bow.
We definitely need a bow. I don't know if we need Ice Rod or not.
The beautiful thing is, if this is a pendant, then we do need Ice Rod.
Yeah.
Though it's worth noting, the Eastern Palace Big Key hasn't shown up at all. We haven't seen Eastern yet. If Eastern is the last pendant, it's entirely likely Ped is dead and Eastern is in some just horrible entrance, like behind Super Bomb or Ganon's Tower Locked.
Yeah. Could be. Gonna use cape strats on Vitreous.
So, fun fact with the cape, when you swing your sword, there's actually a brief period in which your magic stops draining. Like you see when Walsh started mashing there, and as he continues to mash, this bit of magic's just lasting. You can't quite extend it forever, but it's a very long time you can keep the cape going. It's not what I would call a well-programmed item, even by this game's standards.
Nice bonus Vitreous.
Hey, you get your arrows back that you wanted to shoot at Vitreous, but couldn't.
So I have no idea what our red crystals are. We have yet to find the bomb shop.
Yeah, and that can also be a thing that happens. Like, if the super bomb shop is at Ganon's tower, then effectively GT locks 2 entrances.
Alright, and we can now finally go through the Dark World not as a bunny.
Yeah, this is a very logical play from Walsh. He's going to go check out that basement. Then he's going to go straight to the pod entrance, which you cannot open as a bunny. Kiki will not show up for a bunny.
I was back in GT, going right and get my Graven.
I see Goombas, our previous champion, is here. He's back from his round 1 matchup with his favorite anime. I think he won.
Oh, we finally found that. I'm trying to remember what magic that was. Alright, that's very much available. I think I already got the pod small out of there earlier. No, the back of escape is behind Aga 2. A gamer could not, because you cannot ray bombs a super bunny.
Yeah, so Gamer hasn't missed these couple of checks Walsh just made. It's just he hasn't had the opportunity to make the checks yet. Oh, but that glove. So the good news is that mostly puts Gamer on track. The bad news is Gamer still doesn't have the flippers. So there's another long thread he has to sort out before he can get this pearl.
And 110 rupees look to find a fortune teller. Thanks, game.
Hey, that's 110 rupees spent for something very important. Information where progression
Rock is our last pendant, and I completely missed where the red crystals were.
Yeah, the red crystals probably don't matter. Knowing TR is a pendant is a big deal, though. That means we are not hunting an ice rod.
Well, Trinex has a Eastern Palace Big Key or something like that.
Or said big keys on the pedestal or all that
Yep.
usual tomfoolery.
Alright, so now we can finally figure out what our go mode is. So we need the Eastern Big Key. We gotta find Ice Palace. We gotta find Eastern Palace, and we need a bell.
Ice Palace would be a very good find right now. It's pretty easily full clearable. with the half magic, Cold Stare is a very easy fight with this equipment. Oh, that's a super small thing we just saw. I really like that strat Walsh used to throw that skull at that enemy. It's often in the way when you're backtracking from Catfish. So I don't know if you have any theories on this. Why do you think Nintendo made the most dangerous overworld screen in the game the shopping mall area, which you would normally have no reason to ever visit?
That's probably why. 2 fairy fountains so far.
Hey, that
And
cave
money
has
that we
20
do not
rupees
need.
in it no matter how many times you visit. I'm sure that's really valuable. Its value is, at a minimum, easily measurable.
The Raiders to a mess. A lot of convoluted. Get 4 GT smalls to get glove out of GT compass room to go independent, to go and find the entrance dependent swamp and get your moon pearl deep in there.
Which also requires the flippers that were somewhere pretty deep. I don't even really remember where they are, but I know it's deep.
In Misery Mire, so Iron Gamer will be getting those soon.
Yeah, not the gamer knows he has access to Swamp, but with flippers might suspect it. You know, I thought we hadn't found enough healer fairies. I'm glad Walsh is helping rectify that problem.
Yeah.
So here's a fun bug in the original Link to the Past. Do you know if you open a chest on the same frame you take damage, that you die, the chest gets flagged as open, and you don't get the item?
I did not know that.
That Mire Spike chest is by far the easiest place for that to happen.
And Graveyard Ledge is holding Ice Palace today. Nice mitts.
Yeah, I mean, given that we still haven't seen Eastern, it's entirely believable we'll need those mitts. Mitts don't open a ton of entrances, but they open a couple. I guess we already know Vanilla Ice Palace is nothing. So what? They open Hammer Pegs, TR. That's it.
Pretty much. Nice bombers and Ice Palace, thanks.
It's not part of the fastest strat to do this boss, but it is part of the easiest strat.
Yeah, we don't need Bravos in this seed. Eastern Palace. Alright, scratch one more item off the golden list.
So, am I wrong, or is Walsh in Go mode when he finds the 2 big keys that Gamer has?
Needs a bow too.
Oh yeah, the bow. Because he can definitely find Eastern wherever it is.
Unless it's inside. Did one of the connectors take us to the Misery Mire entrance?
Oh, yeah, we do have a connector. We definitely have that connector. But, yeah, I guess it could need Quake. It probably doesn't, but I guess it could.
I say if one connector led to the Misery Mire entrance is what I was trying to figure out.
I think the Mire connector led to the left hut.
Okay, so Quake could be needed.
Yeah. I have somewhat of a habit as a player. If I have 2 medallions, I just kind of assume I can get into anyone that's going to matter. That's not always accurate. It usually is. Of course, with Quick Swap, we don't get a pause, so we really have no idea whether Walsh has the 5 and 6 crystals or not, especially after this dungeon. But Bow's really not a terrible go mode because there are 2 bows in the seed. In theory, that makes it twice as easy to find as other items.
Alright, that is Walsh's 3rd crystal.
And yeah, the way Walsh is routing, he should find Skullwoods and hence his Thieves' Big Key pretty soon.
Yeah.
I don't know when he's going to stumble into what he's looking for with Turtle Rock.
Yeah, because that's now Pendant Turtle Rock that's got the Desert Big Key.
Yeah, but if you walk into either the eye lasers or the big chest entrance, you're probably just going to go to Chomp Room at that time.
That's a death for Iron Gamer. That does have a fairy.
Yeah, he went and bottled a fairy on Death Mountain, which isn't a play you see made too often, but saved his life here. And in case anyone is being a little too adverse about that outcome, this is not a free fight at all. Vitreous with no bow, fighter sword. You have a hammer, which does a lot of damage, but has terrible range, especially when you're facing upward, which for most of the fight is the most natural way to face. It's just not easy.
Well, why are there heads required? This is Oops AD for items. Because we got a Thievestown Big Key and Skull Woods, we have the Moon Pearl and Swamp, we have the Desert Thing and Turtle Rock.
Yeah, that's not really that rare.
Also required Aga 1.
And, I mean, it's so unremarkable you normally wouldn't mention it, but there are required items in Ganon's Tower.
The climb is pretty much dead at this point.
The
There's
climb
Eastern Palace.
Is dead right now. It's just that they both don't know it yet. So Walsh is only going to get 5 of the 6 items here, unless one of them happens to be the bow. It's not that unlikely based on how much we've seen. Very interesting. Vitreous was not Gamer's last check-in here. I would almost always do Vitreous as my last check-in mire, especially with not great equipment, because you might just find something that makes the fight easier.
Yeah. Tempered Sword in Eastern Palace.
That's... Well, as I look at the bosses he has left, the only one it's really a huge deal for is Ganon, but, I mean, like every seed, he is lurking. You will have to fight him. Third Mire key, so those 2 trash items are now in logic. Gamer heading to his Moon Pearl. I don't know what he's going to feel when he sees that Moon Pearl. Like, he's going to know that's a real bad place for it.
Yeah.
But at 142, you can't be feeling like it's that good of a sign.
Right. And he doesn't know this is a pendant.
That sword in Eastern is a good thing for Gamer, because he's inevitably going to find that, and I don't think it's likely he ever finds the sword in the GT Big Chest.
There's a bow in the big key chest.
The bailout bow. Very good reaction to not mirror just instantly upon opening the chest. It's easier to do than you would think.
Right, so that is no mode for us.
Yeah, all Walsh is going to have to do after this is head to Chomp Room, which I don't think will be that hard of a play for him to make. He might be drawn back into Pod first, because he can check the right side. He has more keys. He can do a little more there in general. But TR has to be kind of high on the list. Yeah. At least I certainly would think he would check TR before doing the climb, but it's possible he does the climb. Gamer's showing a annoying little mechanic. The fighter sword is too short to slash through that little barrier and swamp. You have a couple other options. Probably the easiest is throwing the boomerang diagonally from above, but that Kana Samaria strat also works. And hey, there's another sword, so it's not really going to matter at all for Gamer that he's not getting that sword from the big chest in GT. Tempered and Gold are pretty similar in total value, but Gold Sword makes the game easier.
Well, we'll get to see what's on pad. Ace of Hearts.
Yeah, not surprising. I think the only good item that could be there is the flute at this point. Like, obviously, it's not going to be required, but
yeah.
I guess Quake could have been there if you consider that a good item. A medallion that leads to a non-required entrance is its own form of bad item. It's really worse than a piece of heart.
Alright, where is... I'm checking Magic Bat.
Yeah, I'm actually pretty sure we haven't seen the TR big chest yet. So, probably the fastest path for Walsh finishing the seed is just to run into that. I don't know where the eye laser's entrance is. I know that's the path Gamer used to get the
that one's at that fortune tower outside of the Village of Outcasts.
So Walsh is nearby, but is not gone in that direction.
Checking the Thieves' Town entrance.
Yeah, he just chose not to do the revival the last time he was there, whereas Gamer was a lot more aggressive at doing stuff out of logic without the Pearl, which it led him to some big keys that are now proving to be Walsh's endgame, but the cost of just all that time, I think, definitely added up.
Well, there's the Tough Mountain Ascent Cave, or whatever it's called.
Yeah,
so
Walsh
is
heading
gonna
to dig game. This is logical. Probably going to do Smith with his mitts. Because, like, at this point, a Desert Big Key really is an Ice Rod. It only locks 2 checks, one of which is known dead regardless.
Hey, bottle percents. Kind of funny that both first game and big game had B bottles.
Gamer showing one of the more annoying little quirks of Argus. Even though he's immune to fighter sword slashes, it doesn't stop them from interacting with him, so you can easily be prevented from charging the swing just by accidentally getting that little poke. So, that was not a one cycle from Iron Gamer. I think the only way to one cycle would have been with an Ice Rod that he also doesn't have. You know, because he has Fighter Sword. But that was 3 Fire Rod shots into a spin. That would have one cycled with any better sword.
There's a bomb shop, and okay, I guess at least one of Desert and Thieves Town's a red crystal.
Yeah, Walsh, I think, I don't know, Walsh might have seen what the red crystals were and might know Desert's a red crystal. Or that Thieves is not, same difference. But he clearly feels pretty comfortable just not even reading it because the odds of Super Bunny being required are very low at this point. Hey, there's our flute. Fun place for that. Super easy check if you have a Moon Pearl.
Yeah. Oh, there is a TR entrance in this area, but it looks like I'm just gonna check the Hype Cave entrance. Have you even seen Hype Cave?
I'm not sure. There's my good friend, the Grassman. He doesn't help anyone beat the game, but Walsh just found him. I hope everyone appreciates just the outstanding lifestyle it requires to rearrange all the entrances in Hyrule instead of mowing your yard. Well, there's Gamer finding Ice Palace. It's a place he has to be. Let's see, how far back is Gamer realistically? He might not be as bad off as it seems. Because, yeah, if he finds the Eastern Big Key and then Eastern and gets those 2 swords... I mean, honestly, his path is relatively clear. He just has to make his way along the natural path, and he will finish the seed.
Yeah.
Though I see Gamer... Oh, no, he's just doing the crystal switch. For a second, I thought he was not going to Icebreaker, but just hitting a crystal switch. Yeah, here we have Walsh doing Back of Thieves. This is a pretty consequence-free decision. He has to do this. But, this is sort of a baked-in time that Gamer won't have to do later because Gamer has already beaten Thieves and Desert. So I guess Gamer also has to find Hera, which is at the Castle Tower entrance. Well, that's a very easy location to reach. How much do you check before you go back there? Oh yeah, and Gamer has to beat Castle Tower itself. Thanks, Ganon. That's kind of a big deal, too. Yeah, Walsh definitely has a clear lead here. But Gamer has a path.
Yeah, he's now in bow mode, I believe.
Well, he needs, from his perspective, a bow and a sword. We
Oh,
know
it's
he gets
sword.
all that and more in Eastern. He's also in the Find Dungeons mode. Because, you know, he hasn't seen Eastern or Hera. We know his sort of natural path will lead him to Eastern and all the items shortly. I don't know when he's going to check Hera, though. Finding a Master Sword might push him in that direction.
Yeah, you can just decide, hey, I'm going to do angle 1, try to just think about what to do next, and then you just get dumped on top of the Hera, you mirror, and then Hera's right there.
Yeah, though he does have to make that decision after finding Eastern, I think. It's just, not only does Eastern have all the rest of his items telling him he's in go mode, which is a big deal itself, but like, if you don't check Eastern while you're in Northern Dark World now, you know, the Back of Skull entrance, it will turn into a last location. And at this point, Gamer pretty much needs to straight line through the seed to have a chance of catching up. Detours are not in his interest at all. Yeah, definitely, though, it's the case that from Walsh's perspective, probably the best next play is to go finish clearing out Pod, which the good thing about it is he has to do it anyway, but that could entail just a little extra checking that we know is not going to lead to anything, maybe the silver arrows.
Okay, where's rdwalshv gonna go now?
Meanwhile, Gamer has finished up Ice Palace. Going back to Dark World, which is a good start.
I think rdwalshv is just gonna, or he's gonna go to Pod. Also check Ether Tablet as well.
Yeah, like, this makes a lot of sense. Like, honestly, it's probably what I would do in his situation, but it would obviously accelerate Walsh toward the end of the seed more if he went to Turtle Rock. Oh yeah, checking the TR entrance. This is smart. Because I think we've said Hype Cave is still outstanding. Well, we'll see what Iron Gamers is doing. But he might be skipping back a skull, and if he is, that's very bad. He might also just be waiting to do back a skull until some of this other stuff, but I feel it's really going to be easy for him to get sidetracked with the Smith chain, and that's going to be all bad.
So there's another pod. GT is right underneath here. He might consider climbing.
Honestly, that's a super tempting play. Because, like, look at it from Walsh's perspective after he full clears pod. What remains in the game? He's full cleared basically every other dungeon. He hasn't fought Moth. He's done everything else in Skull. And he has some of Turtle Rock left, but not even Laser Bridge. Like, the top of GT, which is right here, could be a numbers play. Of course, the sort of up and down of climbing GT, the negative is that the drop is nothing. You've already done back of escape. The upside is that you get to mirror after Moldorm 2. You don't actually have to fight Aga 2, so you save a little time there. Of course, there is also the factor that GT is very easy to return to with the Mountain Cave save and quit, so that's probably the biggest factor that would tend to push you away from climbing, knowing that the fact that you're nearby isn't really a major factor in this.
That is true, yeah. Happy 2 hours, everyone.
Yeah, Gamer doing the whole Smith chain, South Dark World mirror checks. None of these are bad plays, by the way, especially given that we had Troll Woods. It's really logical to not want to get yourself stuck there. Just, it is absolutely devastating for Gamer here because he was already behind, and it's leading him away from the one entrance that has pretty much everything he needs.
All right, everything else now on 6 crystals. Going to go back in and check remaining things in here.
Yeah, the big question for Walsh is less about what he finds in these last 2 checks and more what does he do next. Because these are what I would call the last completely obvious plays that he has remaining. Everything else he has to do is more of a decision. Yep, Gamer check in front of TR. It's sensible. It's not where he needs to be. You know, honestly, with how much Gamer's missing, too, probably going to be pretty hard for him to believe there's nothing here. I guess the other bow could be here. We haven't seen these.
Yeah, true. Well, there's the swamp big key in the hallway. That was their last big key outstanding. No, not gonna climb GT.
That was an oops from Gamer going northwest out of here instead of northeast. Doesn't really go anywhere in this case. He's already done Chomp Room. You have to really think about Turtle Rock in a different context in Crosskeys and in other modes. Because, you know, in most modes, Turtle Rock is this mostly linear dungeon with a lot of rigidity in its requirements. But because all 4 of its entrances are kind of interweaved, you really have to be adept at thinking of the dungeon as kind of a collection of pieces in Crosskeys.
Oh yeah, Spike Cave. We didn't see this.
Yep, this is a perfectly sensible check. You're looking for one item. You're in the area. I don't know what it is. I know it's not the Desert Big Key. Again, never underestimate this game's ability to give you 20 bucks.
And there are like, what, 28 of those in the item pool?
That sounds about right. Okay, Walsh taking the back of Old Man. We've seen this. I don't remember where it is, but we've seen it.
It wasn't Cactus what I was thinking. Yeah, I can activate the flute.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Like, if he knew where he needed to go, activating the flute might not even be worth it, but when you still have a bunch of exploration to do, you don't have to flute that many times before it prices itself in for this cutscene.
I have a mushroom.
Yeah, this check isn't the one he needs to make, but hey, the flute just priced itself in right now. Maybe a little less because he fluted to 4.
Oh, this is way bad. Potions. Oh, wait, he's gonna have to mirror again.
Yeah, and it almost looked like he wanted to go to bombs to walk over it, then remembered it doesn't work on that one. It's a little weird it doesn't work on that one, but it doesn't.
A key.
That is his first logical, or his first randomized Skullwood small key, I think. I don't know if he got the static one or not from that one chest.
Not sure.
That's not very helpful. And yeah, it makes sense too. You just got this key. You feel like, you know, you kind of feel pointed here. He didn't get the static one. Not that it really matters. He knows it's there. And this is the green pendant, so it's another check. Actually, has he gone back for the back of Sahas yet?
I don't think so.
So yeah, that definitely adds a lot of weight to this. You're like, okay, I'll kill Moth now that I just got a Skull Key, so it's more likely to be part of the important path. I'll get the green pendant. We know there's 3 checks there. It'll now be a 4-check cave. None of which are going to get him where he needs to go, but not terrible odds he gets silvers. Honestly, the best thing he could find is probably Ice Rod.
Yeah, I'd definitely send him to Turtle Rock.
Thanks for the last pod small key. You shouldn't have. No, really, you shouldn't have. So as far as I know, between both runners, there are 3 entrances we haven't seen. What's behind Super Bomb, what's behind GT, and what's in Meyer, Maine. I don't know if there are any interesting entrances left to find.
I really can't think of any either.
Oh yeah, the TR Big Chest is still out there. It's a little unfortunate for Walsh that he hasn't... that didn't turn up, but he's going to go to the eye lasers, so... yeah, this is going to lead him to the end of the game. Yeah, and he's going to check Roller or Crystal Roller first, which is, in this case, wrong, but this is the smarter play because this is faster than going to Chomp Room, and from his perspective, it's just as likely. Especially given that he plans to carry this through to the front, though he's going to immediately mirror the moment he finds the big key he's looking for. And yeah, Gamer is just kind of scrambling at this point. The world's a big maze, and the only 2 useful places for him to be are the back of Skull and the Castle Tower entrance. Neither of which is a conventionally good entrance to check. Oh yeah, shout outs to self-locking TR small key there.
That's always a funny one. Yeah, even in Q-Sanity, it can happen.
Oh, people thought it would make sense to have it just do a if key sanity check, don't have key for key logic. No, I say. It's just unlikely. It can happen.
That is now go mode for rdwalshv. 2 hours, 10 minutes, and 15 seconds.
Yeah, and this should be a pretty quick go mode. Desert's one of the fastest dungeons to wrap up. You know, short area because you're jumping in halfway through the dungeon, easy boss. And then we just have to head over to Ganon. Walsh has already cleared Castle Tower, so getting in is going to be quite straightforward. And unless land mode drops silvers, we won't have those, but with 16 hearts, red mail, gold sword, 3 bottles, and a cape and lamp for good measure, I don't think Walsh is going to have too much difficulty. So where do you think silvers were this seed?
Probably the GT climb, I feel like.
Yeah, that's definitely the numbers play. I think TR Big Chest is more fun, though. You know, just imagine they're in TR Big Chest. It's in the Ganon's Tower entrance. Wouldn't that be something special?
Oh, yeah.
Well, land mode did drop the arrows. Not quite the ones we were looking for, but they were the arrows. And yeah, I'm talking like everyone knows. Most people familiar with Link to the Past are aware of this fact. You do not need the silver arrows to beat Ganon in this game. There's a trick. It's not actually that difficult if you practice it, to hit Ganon with your sword while he's teleporting. If you use spin attacks, it's ridiculously lenient, actually. Ganon will tell us where the silvers are, approximately, but there's no chance Walsh goes back for him. It's much, much faster from that point to just end the fight.
Yeah. It was 12 spins, but it's not too bad. It's not as bad as the 24 with Master Sword.
I do believe this is a point of version difference between the US and Japanese version. The Rando is based on the Japanese version. You can still do this strat in the US version. I believe the timing is more strict.
Yeah, I think that's what I've heard.
And that's an interesting thing, too, because to my knowledge, A Link to the Past is the only Zelda randomizer based on the Japanese version.
I don't see how you can use the Japanese ROM, it just forces English. Bat-like man. Oh, it must have been Hype Cave. I think that's what that refers to.
Yeah, that is. Did it say near or with?
Near.
Okay, so it's one of the chests behind him. It's a fun fact, it's actually savvy about that level of grammar. If it said with, he would be holding it. Oh yeah, we had a lot of interesting entrances left. We didn't find TR Big Chest, we didn't find Hype Cave, and we didn't find some third entrance that is probably less interesting than those two.
Get your GGs in chat as RD Walsh is going to cross the bridge and finish this race in first place with a time of 2 hours, 14 minutes, and 36 seconds.
That's honestly a pretty good time for the amount of the seed Walsh cleared. Because Walsh didn't get to skip very much by the time he was done. He skipped 4 checks in Turtle Rock, which includes the boss. He skipped GT Climb. He never found Hype Cave, and I think that's it.
Iron Gamer has chosen 2 forfeits.
I really can't blame him. Like, we know he's actually a lot closer to finishing than it feels like, but, like, from his perspective, the seed's been a gauntlet. He hasn't found anything well, and he's still missing 2 whole dungeons. He's still on Fighter Sword. It feels like it's a million miles away. Little does he know, Eastern's just loaded.
That's a good seed to start out the tournament.
Yeah, it was a pretty interesting one. Both Late Glove and Late Pearl are things you definitely have to be prepared for playing Entrance Randomizer. Both at the same time, and a whole lot of nastiness with GT keys. That's definitely a little harsher than usual. And it looks like they're both going to be joining us for an interview shortly. We'll wait for them to get pulled in. And we're joined. Welcome, Iron Gamer and RD Walsh. Congrats on your wins, Walsh, and it was a fun race.
Oh, was it? I was just hoping that I wasn't getting my butt kicked, but it seems... Well, I only needed a couple things, really.
So I don't know if you guys did the classic race room talk. I'll run through everything you hadn't found. Back of Skull was Eastern Palace.
Oh
It
no!
had a sword in the compass chest.
Oh no!
The
Oh
vanilla
my
big
gosh.
key was the only bow we ever saw.
Oh
And then
no!
you
Everything
kill
was there.
Armos Knights for another sword.
No way! Oh my gosh! Because I went to Dark World when I finally got the Moon Pearl, and I went to the Kakariko portal and was like, the only thing up there in Skull Woods is that back portal. There's probably nothing there. I got so much other stuff to do now.
Yeah, like
Oh.
it actually seemed like you had a real chance to catch up and pull a lot closer if after Ice Palace you'd gone straight to that Back of Skull portal. Because then all you had to find was Hera, which, if you just said, forget it, I'm clearing Castle Tower, it was the vanilla Castle Tower entrance is where Hera was. Nothing other than the book was actually in there.
Actually, I was doing Catfish when I forfeit, and that was actually my next check. That's where I was going to go, was the top of Castle. But yeah, I was really upset at myself at the beginning when I did Thieves Town and went and just death warped on blind and was like, oh my god, I have the blue cane. I was so upset at myself. I couldn't believe it when I pulled out the blue cane on Laser Bridge. Was like, wait a second. Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
So
it was interesting because I'd say the biggest strategic difference between the two of you was you, Iron Gamer, committed a lot more to a lot deeper dives of bunny stuff sort of early and often, a lot of out of logic stuff, dying in dungeons, super bunnying, etc. Whereas Walsh pushed to avoid it more. So this led Walsh to a lot of the critical threads earlier, like the flippers, the pearl, the hammer, all those fun little dots. But the advantage you got from that gamer was you had the big keys to Desert and Thieves drastically earlier.
Well, that's what I was hoping I could leverage. Because I was starting to kind of run out of locations and was thinking, like, what the heck? Like, all I got really is like some connectors and a couple one-offs. So I said, you know what? Let's just go check some of these entrances in the Dark World, in a bunny, and we'll see what happens. And I got a few things. Um, but I guess, yeah, I'm upset that I didn't go to the back of Skull Woods because I ended up clearing it out as a bunny, or well, as a bunny revive. So it really had I almost had no interest in going back there, and that's unfortunate.
Yeah, another fun part of the story of this seed. So between the two of you, I'm pretty sure there's only 3 entrances that weren't checked. Mire Main, and we never found Quake between either of you either. Behind Super Bomb and Ganon's Tower. Between those 3 entrances were Turtle Rock, Big Chest, and Hype Cave. Hype Cave had silvers, Ganon told us.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I was looking so hard for Hype Game, man. Like, yeah,
When did you get your Moon Pearl?
Oh, I don't remember when specifically. It feels like post 1 hour. Like that was really late. Like I definitely got the mirror a little bit early. Shout out to getting absolutely bailed out by the bomb rat that I did.
Oh yeah, I felt so
Yeah.
bad because I did a bomb escape, and then I got the extra heart at the bottom, but I accidentally killed the green guard because he was attacking me, so I had to use 2 extra bombs. So when I got to the back of escape, I was like, I only have 1 bomb. There's no point of going farther. So I ended up coming back about 10 minutes later.
Yeah, that actually ended up being incredibly costly for you because...
So my very next check after I left there was the fire rod, and I was like, oh no. Like if I had that fire rod. Oh.
The funny thing about that fire rod is Walsh found the fire rod like 10 seconds after leaving GT.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
How much faster this seed would have been for him if he had the fire rod first and got the glove his first time in GT. It just, everything would have gone so much smoother, but it just, the nature of this seed and where the Moon Pearl was, just so many different pieces had to fall in the right order that the odds for any one player of bumping into all of them in the right sequence weren't great.
It's funny, I got my first sword after an hour. I got the Moon Pearl. At that point I got the Moon Pearl, I was actually thinking to myself, I might be able to finish this without a Moon Pearl depending on where these dungeons are, because I knew where Ganon was, and that was a real possibility. But I guess not quite. based on
Yeah,
where.
there's just no way to reach where the Ice Palace entrance is without the Moon Pearl, and of course you needed the Moon Pearl to open up back a skull for the absolute treasure trove that Eastern was this seed.
Yeah.
Oh, what? That's wild! I can't believe that Eastern at the back of Skull Woods. I mean, that really bit me. Then, like jumping into Swamp or Skull Woods with as the Super Bunny, right? Like that's because that really prevented me to go back.
Yeah, like cases that are like that are kind of why I tend to avoid Super Money Skull Woods. Like I think at that point I had like red mail and a billion hearts, so like death warping is just low, and then like you also completely devalue like that back entrance, especially if you have to like drop down for the BS entrance that we got here. Like it's really hard to like talk yourself into going back with that. So I just kind of like to like keep that whole dungeon like open and just like get it all done in one fell swoop. Like, because I know it's like all going to be out of logic no matter what. I'm going to try to find the Moon Pearl before I do anything in there.
Yeah, there were a lot of little punishes for Gamer here. Like the fact that Skull was a pendant too, it meant the fact that he killed Mothula way earlier amounted to pretty much nothing. Or he routed a little differently and was able to do front of escape a full hour earlier, and it was nothing, but I mean, if it'd been something that would have really helped him.
Yeah, really. It was unfortunate, I guess, but I mean that's the risk you take when you're running around as a bunny, kind of grasping at straws, and I mean you're just kind of hoping for the best. Because I really there wasn't a ton open, so I think that's really why I was just trying to run around as a bunny. Honestly, just trying to pray for something.
Yeah, this was just that seed where you spent so long, you were both pearlless and gloveless, and it's constraining, and you begin to feel a little desperate, and you have a mirror so you don't feel as bad running around the dark world, and it's easy to go down a lot of very deep out of logic rabbit holes.
Yeah, and that's unfortunately exactly what I did. That's all right. GG's, Walsh. I mean, well done.
Yeah, GG to you, man. Yeah, this was... my team,
I mean, I guess I feel okay how it finished, because I just needed the bow and two entrances, really, so it wasn't too far off.
I have a couple of regrets to see it. Like, number one, not being able to do like the right side GT. Like I'm so like inconsistent with that bomb jumps, and like I wasn't going to go for that given like how deep out of logic right side was at that point. Like I just wanted that magic refill, and then immediately fired the fire right after. It's like, well, still out of logic.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then
I did
other...
the full...
Oh, sorry.
I was just gonna say I skipped right side GT too because I ran out of magic by the time I finished the left, and I just left and ended up coming back like 10 minutes later again.
I meant to tell you this in the interview. That was actually just an objective mistake. So the pot with the switch you weigh down with Samaria?
Yeah.
The other pot in that room has a small magic that can't
Oh,
burn.
yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. I mean, honestly, it was a little bit of panic and some pressure and just a little bit of nerves, I guess. I didn't even think of that. I tried to stop for a couple of seconds and think, like, okay, what's near, and I didn't even think. I just panicked and left, and I don't know. Oh, well. I mean, that's too bad, because I had the glove, too.
Yeah, it's tough, and you also... I don't think you ever found the GT Big Key, but Walsh did. That's sword 4 is the GT Big Chest. It was Walsh's sword 2, but...
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely didn't find that.
Yeah, I don't even remember where that Big Key was. It really doesn't matter too much. I don't think that Master Sword really changed much at any point, given that there were double swords in Eastern, so, if you'd finished the seed, you inevitably would have gotten tempered.
Yeah, it's right there. Oh well, I mean, yeah, that's the risk you take when you're running around out of logic. And I said to one point to my chat, whoever was listening, that like I had made a couple serious errors at the beginning, and then I went so far out of logic that I didn't even know if I was in logic or not. And then I found the flippers, and I said, I'm just going to assume I'm in logic and kind of hope for the best here.
Oh, I mean, the sequence was crazy with... I don't know where the 4 GT small keys were, but they were all required for the Pearl, logically, and that weaves a complicated web.
Yeah,
wild.
One of them is in Hera Basement, I remember that much. The other 3 are just, who knows anymore, but...
Yeah, and that one of the Hera base was making me think maybe you have to beat Aga to get into Hera logically.
Well, no, because like
No, but there was the sword, so no.
yeah, and like I guess it depends on like where the other three were because Cape was in Rando Room, so you could have also used Cape to get into Hera, but I
I mean,
don't know.
Rando Room's behind all four is the thing.
Oh, Rando Room's behind 4. I thought it was just 3. I mean, you know better than
No,
me.
the
but-
very back's 3. So I think that's where Boots were this seed. And
they
the
were
swords.
Ice
Yeah. So behind Ice Armos, that far back, the Boots and the 2 swords at the very bottom of GT were all in logic with 3. But Rando Room, or the glove for that matter, which is the really critical part, were behind all 4.
Jeez.
Fair enough. Okay. Yeah, the other thing I feel bad about the seed is that I kind of spaced out that there was like a T-Rock entrance in the Build a Back as Fortune Teller, so I was very late to the Desert Big Key. Like, I should have done that like after Skull, and then, like, I don't want to complain that I didn't finish the seed fast enough, but there's a large chunk of time I could have shaved off, but...
Yeah, see, I kind of assumed that was a choice on your part. You were like, I have a bunch of entrances to check. I could find the big chest. I still need to beat places like Pod, which, I mean, what if it's just there in a dungeon you have to do anyway?
Yeah, like, I kind of like I debated, like, just saving quitting after checking Pedestal and just, like, doing the Crystal Dungeons, but, like, I don't know, you had, like, so much overworld. I still had Hype Cave, like, kind of going on my item list. Yeah, it was, I don't know, but yeah, like, just kind of dashing past that door was like, oh, well, hope he doesn't bite me, and hey, it bit me, but that's what happens.
Yeah, I honestly thought there was a real chance you might climb GT because it was a decent concentration. I don't know what was up there, but I know it wasn't any good.
Yeah, that was going to be last location, yeah.
Yeah, that's how it goes, right?
Yeah, of course.
But yeah,
that's
GG's
okay.
to both of you. I'm glad this is not the first race of the tournament. It is the first restream of the tournament, and real good to have that one behind us. Congrats again on your win, Walsh, and good luck in round 2, gamer.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Yeah, GG's. Thanks for putting me up on this here, and GG's, Walsh. Good luck, buddy.
Yeah, GG. Good luck to you and the rest, and thank you guys for the restream and the commentary. Yeah.
You're welcome.
GG's. Alright, so that's GG's to both of our runners, rdwalshv and Iron Gamer. Good luck to them in future rounds. There are 7 remaining rounds of Swiss, so it is got a long ways to go. But let's see, give our runners here a follow. rdwalsh and Iron Gamer, two lovely commentators, VXR and Amazing Empress. And to our trackers, Liberal and Dr. Earworm, thank you for your work. Give them all a follow. Find the links in chat there that I am now posting. As mentioned, this is the first restream tournament. There are plenty more to come. We have ourselves coming. Currently over on ZeldaSpeedRuns _3, we have another restream going on right now. Between GFE and LateBit. Tomorrow we also have 2 more matches up on the schedule. Zeke Highwind versus T-Stu14 at 8 p.m. Eastern, and at 11:30 p.m. Eastern. Shortly after, we'll have Norse Pandy versus Fear Agent, both on ZSR main, and plenty more to come. We also still have some other Link to the Past randomizer action. The Challenge Cup is in the semifinal stage. Krugel versus Dr. Diabetes. Game 2 will be Thursday at 5:10 p.m. Eastern, along with more Crosskeys and more other tournaments as well, as both the Wind Waker Randomizer and the Majora's Mask Randomizer tournaments are in their qualifier stages now here coming on up. So lots going on. If you want Zelda action here on the ZSR channels, there is plenty to be had. Give all the ZSR channels a follow. ZeldaSpeedRuns main, ZeldaSpeedRuns 2, ZeldaSpeedRuns _3, and ZeldaSpeedRuns _4. But this shall be it for us for now. Thank you for watching all. Let's go see how that other Crosskeys pack is doing.
Thank you all for watching.